I've never really told this full story before. We used to live deep in the forest, a small, isolated house, about 30 minutes from the nearest store and over an hour from any of my friends. I spent most of my teen years locked away in my room gaming, because, honestly, what else do you do in the middle of nowhere? But that house, that place, something was wrong with it. And the people who lived nearby, the ones who'd been there for generations, they knew it too. We had this neighboring family, a big one, generations of landowners, grandparents, uncles, kids. They'd lived there for centuries and owned most of the land around us. The son and his mother were different. They were mediums, apparently, people who could see spirits. They talk about waking up to noises, seeing dead relatives walking around the house, being exhausted from, well, seeing too much. The mother had seen something that stuck with me. As a teen, she'd wake up in the middle of the night to classical music playing in the living room. She'd walk in and see people dancing in midair, floating, like they were standing on a floor that no longer existed. Later, she found out their house was built on top of an old dance hall. The ghosts weren't floating, they were dancing on the floor that used to be there. She also saw her deceased father-in-law regularly, a strict, cold man. His old house had a presence. Guests couldn't stay inside longer than a few minutes. Everyone described the same thing, an oppressive energy, something watching you. My own mum entered that house once, just to help walk a dog. She never went back. She doesn't even like talking about it. She said it felt like something was breathing down her neck. The mother, the medium, used to visit our house often for coffee, gossip, just to chat with my mum. But every time she left our property, she'd freeze up. She said she felt watched, overwhelmed with dread. And no matter what, she could never look back at our house. She was terrified of whatever was behind her. Her son, my friend, had a few encounters of his own. The first was when he was sleeping in the attic of his grandmother's house. Same house my mom refused to go back into. In the middle of the night, he had to pee. The bathroom was downstairs, just past a mounted moose head in the hallway. As he turned the corner, he stopped cold. Standing directly beneath the moose head was his deceased grandfather, staring at him, not moving, not blinking, just watching. He screamed, full panic, and the figure vanished. He never slept there again, but the moment that changed everything happened at my house. We were renovating the second floor. Just one big room at the time, split into future bedrooms for me and my sister. There was a big hole in the wall where wiring was being done. It overlooked the stairs. I was gaming in my room, headset on, completely immersed. Elder Scrolls, Oblivion. My friend came to visit. He called my name from the bottom of the stairs. No response. He took a step up, called again, and then he saw it. My face, peeking through the wall hole, staring at him, smiling. He freaked out, tripped, got up, ran up the stairs in a panic, ready to call me out. He burst through my door and saw me, headset on, controller in hand, sitting at the far end of the room, totally unaware. When I looked up at him, he was red-faced, angry, embarrassed. Then he went completely pale, white as a ghost. And after that day, he never stepped foot in our house again. After that, things started feeling more wrong. Shoes would go missing. My baseball bat moved itself across the property. Our animals refused to go near the barn. My mum heard hammering, like someone was building something, even when no one was around. And sometimes, she'd hear an infant crying from the barn. where her horse was kept. The horse wouldn't go near it. My friend, who slept over often, swore he saw lights moving inside the barn late at night. My sister and I started noticing something in pictures. Faces in the windows, always staring out. We've moved houses a lot over the years, but we've never experienced anything like that again. Whatever was in that forest, in that house, it wasn't just haunted. It felt alive, watching, waiting, and some days I still wonder what would have happened if I'd looked back through that hole in the wall and seen myself smiling back. Number 2. I used to think my grandfather was just going senile when he talked about the bell. He lived alone, deep in the countryside. The kind of rural place where GPS doesn't work and the trees seem to lean a little too close to the road. His house sat right at the edge of a thick pine forest where sunlight barely touched the ground. We used to visit him every summer, but there was one rule he always made us follow. Never go into the woods after dark. And if you hear the bell, don't answer it. Don't look. Don't move. At the time, we laughed it off. Old people say weird stuff, right? But then, one summer, we stopped laughing. That year, I was 16. My parents left me to help Grandpa out for a week while they went to a wedding out of state. It was just me, him, and his dog, Tucker. It was quiet. Too quiet. No neighbors, no cell signal, no distractions, just the woods and the silence. Grandpa never talked much, except to repeat the same warning every night before bed. Doors locked, curtains drawn. Don't open anything if you hear it, I always nodded. Sure, Grandpa. Got it. The first few nights were uneventful, boring even. I played cards, read books, watched some old VHS tapes, but on the 4th night, I woke up at 3:12 a.m. and I heard it. A bell, faint, like it was coming from deep in the forest. Just a single chime. I froze. Tucker, usually snoring like a chainsaw, sat bolt upright at the foot of my bed, growling low and deep. Then the bell rang again. Closer. This time, Tucker whimpered and backed up under the bed. I looked toward the window, but the curtains were shut tight, just like Grandpa said. Then I heard footsteps on the porch. Slow, deliberate, thump, thump, thump. Then a knock. 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I thought about calling out, but remembered the rule. Don't answer it. Don't look. Don't move. Who would be out here at 3 a.m.? Then came the voice. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was wrong. It's open. Come see. Just one look. My mouth went dry. Every hair on my body stood on end. Then the bell rang again. This time it sounded like it was right outside the window. Tucker began barking. Frantic, violent barking. I jumped up and backed away from the window, heart pounding. Then I heard Grandpa's voice from down the hall. Don't move. Don't answer it. Don't say a word. I stood there, shaking, until the voice outside stopped. The bell stopped. The footsteps faded, and eventually, the sun came up. When I opened the door in the morning, there were no footprints. Just a dead bird on the porch. Its neck was broken. I asked Grandpa what the hell that was, what the bell meant. He looked me dead in the eyes. It comes for the curious. It wants you to look, because once you see it, it sees you. I pressed him for more, but he just walked away. That night, I double-locked everything. Slept with a flashlight in one hand and a kitchen knife in the other. But the bell didn't come back. Not that night. Not the rest of the week. A few years later, Grandpa passed away in his sleep. We went back to his house to clean it out. There, tucked in his desk drawer, was a journal. Pages and pages of notes. Dates, times, drawings, all about the bell. One passage burned itself into my memory. It chooses one each generation. It shows them the forest's other side. And once you hear the bell, you will hear it again. I haven't been back to that house since. But sometimes, when I'm walking alone at night, or just as I'm falling asleep, I think I hear it. Faint. Far away. Just one chime. Ding. Would you answer the knock?